Twitch is suing two of its users in connection with hate raids that have been taking place across the platform. And while this federal lawsuit may go a long way towards dissuading the two anonymous defendants, it's probably the threat of future lawsuits that will be a big step towards cleaning up the racism and harassment that have been plaguing Twitch recently. So let's dive in and take a look at how this lawsuit might or might not change the game. Before we get started, I promise to keep this short, like our new The Score Esports YouTube Shorts channel. If you've ever wanted to see your favorite streamer try really desperately to identify animals or esports players ducking shots that are in a video game, we've got you covered, and we can pack a lot into a minute. So go check it out, subscribe to the channel, and let us know what you think about what we've got so far. See you there. Okay, so let's start at the beginning. What exactly is a hate raid? Over the course of the last couple months, there's been an increasing number of bot-driven harassment incidents on Twitch. Essentially what happens is that a massive number of bots show up and start spamming harassment in the chat, usually of a bigoted variety.
Oh, y'all are real cute. Time out.
This does a few things. It makes it basically impossible for the streamer and chat to interact. It's generally incredibly disruptive. And in some cases, streamers have just called it quits and ended their stream instead of continuing. Moderation tools can sometimes help if there's obvious slurs in the message, but we're not talking about banning one person. There can be dozens of these bots in a single chat at any one time. And obviously slurs aren't the only way to be offensive or to harass people, and there are ways to get around automated chat filters and still get a shitty message across. While there's always been people on Twitch, or really any anonymous platform, who are willing to get banned to shock or disgust people, these hate raids really started to pick up steam in August. Some creators tried to share tips on how to minimize their effects using auto moderation tools. But when there's dozens of these bots constantly in your chat, these sorts of tools can only do so much. Sub-only chat mode can work, but it's definitely not ideal, especially if you're a smaller creator that's trying to attract subscribers and viewership. On August 11th, Twitch acknowledged the existence of the issue in a tweet that said, quote, "We've seen a lot of conversation about botting, hate raids, and other forms of harassment targeting marginalized creators. You're asking us to do better, and we know we need to do more to address these issues. That includes an open and ongoing dialogue about creator safety." The tweets go on to talk about how they're planning to improve channel-level ban evasion detection, as well as account verification, in order to make these problems less of an issue. But for the month of August, Twitch really didn't do much. But streamers did, organizing a one-day walkout called A Day Off Twitch to protest Twitch's inaction and call attention to the issues that streamers have been facing from these raids. The walkout itself was controversial, as some bigger streamers question exactly what it would accomplish without buy-in from some of the platform's bigger names.
It's slacktivism. Okay, it's slacktivism. Like, you're gonna take one day off? Oh, wow. Jeff Bezos is gonna fucking be quaking in his boots. Oh my God, he's gonna be afraid, he's gonna be terrified that you take one day off. Meanwhile, nobody fucking watches you, right? So it doesn't even matter because you don't affect the audience that the website has.
Are you joining it? Yeah, I'll join it. I want the problems to be solved before the strike even happens. That's why I wanted their demands to be made clear so that Twitch could at least like respond, and then we could see if they're happy with those demands.
The organizers also said that those who relied on streaming income and couldn't afford to take a day off needn't worry about that. And while it's not exactly clear how effective it was, some estimates put the reduction in views at about 10 to 15% for that day. A couple days later, Twitch made a statement about the hate raids via email and announced a workshop for streamers to learn how to best use the tools that exist on Twitch already to prevent them. That brings us to the lawsuit, which is dated September 9th. The lawsuit alleges that two Twitch users, Cruise Control from the Netherlands and Creatine Overdose from Austria, are linked to these hate raids. By the way, creatine overdose from Austria? That sounds like it might be...
I'm ballsy. I don't take no shit from anyone.
Okay, of course it's not him. Of course it's not Arnold. It specifically accuses Cruise Control of creating over 3,000 bot accounts used for hate raids. And it also points out that Creatine Overdose demonstrated the use of botting software. The second name might sound familiar if you've been following the situation closely, as Twitch streamer Sista Karen posted a video of the moment that her channel was hate raided by bots. Right before that happens, there's a follow and an offensive message from a user named Creatine Overdose.
Creatine Overdose, thank you for the follow. Welcome, welcome. How are ya? I think that's Davis giving this person a whoop-de-wop. Go whoop-de-whoop. Oh, here we go. See? Look at, we got followed by it, guys. It's so cool. Give me 1 second. All right. So, yep. So we got this. We're email only, guys. So, yeah. So just give me a second. We're going to turn, I think we got alerts off.
In terms of the actual claims made in the lawsuit, Twitch alleges that Cruise Control and Creatine Overdose did 3 main things. Firstly, they allege that they breached their contract with Twitch by breaking the terms of service. The alleged behavior includes racist, homophobic, and offensive chat, harassment and defamation, creating fake accounts after being banned, manipulating identifying information, interfering with the enjoyment of other users, and accessing Twitch with prohibited bots. The second claim alleges that both users committed fraud by agreeing to the terms of service on Twitch when they both knew full well that they had no intention of ever abiding by those terms. This is a specific kind of fraud known as fraud in the inducement. In the lawsuit, Twitch argues that without this misrepresentation, Twitch would never have allowed the users to make accounts at all. And after banning them, they allege, the 2 defendants agreed to the terms again when they made even more accounts, sometimes hiding their identities and locations while doing so. The last claim made is that the defendants are in violation of a specific California statute that governs unfair competition. The complaint alleges that Cruise Control and Creatine Overdose, quote, engaged in unlawful, unfair, or fraudulent business practices or acts as described above, including but not limited to fraudulent inducement, harassing Twitch streamers, deploying hostile raids on Twitch, and disrupting Twitch's services. In the case of each of these claims, Twitch notes that it suffered damages, and in addition to whatever financial compensation is appropriate, they're seeking a court order to prevent both defendants from ever using Twitch or from assisting other people or companies who are using Twitch. Okay, so that's probably enough about the lawsuit itself. You may have noticed that we're not using real names when talking about these users, and Twitch's complaint states that if those are discovered, the complaint will be amended appropriately. So how do things go from this point? Well, as the Washington Post's Nathan Grayson pointed out in his article, Twitch has used lawsuits in the past to subpoena anonymous users. Remember back in 2019 when people were streaming anime and porn in the extremely dead artifact category on Twitch? I think I watched like 6 episodes of the Saga of Tanya the Evil on my second monitor when I was supposed to be writing a script. And that's anime, by the way, not, you know, the other thing. Wait, don't tell Keith that. Cut this part out. Do you promise? Okay, cool. Let's keep going. Anyways, Twitch sued those anonymous users too, referring to them as John and Jane Doe's 1 through 100 in their lawsuit. But even if they discover the identities of these 2 anonymous users through this lawsuit, can suing 2 people really stop these hate raids? Well, it could make it a little bit more difficult for people to justify even attempting. Getting sued by a subsidiary of Amazon is probably not something that factored into the mental calculus of most of these harassers. But it's also possible that not all of these people are rational actors. I mean, they're spending their free time spewing hate and harassment on Twitch, so it's kind of hard to know. To Twitch's credit, their spokesperson told the Washington Post that the lawsuit is just a single step in addressing this issue. Quote, "This complaint is by no means the only action we've taken to address targeted attacks, nor will it be the last." And they go on to continue, quote, Hate and harassment have no place on Twitch, and we know we have a lot more to do. But we hope that these combined actions will help reduce the immediate and unacceptable harm that targeted attacks have been inflicting on our community. It's a strange time that we live in. For the dozens of cases where law enforcement seems so poorly equipped to handle situations like internet death threats or swatting, we have a subsidiary of one of the world's biggest corporations suing two people who, they allege, tried to use bots to be as racist as possible, as often as possible, on their platform. I think this lawsuit could do a lot to dissuade people who convince themselves that these hate raids were just jokes, even though that's a really shitty excuse and honestly not acceptable. But Twitch also has a lot to do to make the platform safer for everyone. It seems like Twitch is talking the talk, but if they don't follow through on the changes that their users need, I think there are a lot of streamers ready to hold them accountable again. Somebody in the comments, this is gonna end up in the end board. So you know what? I don't care. Somebody in the comments, the last one of these I did, they said, put this at 1.5 speed. You'll thank me later, or some shit. And it's just like, I don't know, maybe I do speak slowly. I don't. So I'm like, this week I'm like, I'm gonna speak as quickly as possible. And we'll see how you like that. Maybe you have to slow it down, put it on 0.5 speed. It's too fast. 60% of the time, it works every time.